little project. We are going to make a fabric bowl. What I'm using now is cotton tubing, and I put a little Wonder Clip on one end to keep it from fraying and unraveling because it does have stitching around it. I have cut off 68 inches of fabric with a little bit left on the end because I will have to cut it and refresh the ends because you can't work with this frayed end. As you can see on the table, we have a lot of strips cut. I will go to my ironing table, and all of these, some of these are right at 2 inches, some are 2 1/4. The first thing I'm going to do is go press these to make sure they're flat. Then I will sew them on the bias, meaning I will take one, let's get the ends cut off. These are leftover strips from a different project. So they will be sewn on the diagonal like this. So when they're all folded back, let me get this on here, they will all be like this. That way when we go to make our fabric bowl, when you sew it on the bias, you don't have the thickness as you would have each time you try to go across a straight end. This way they are put that way and they'll be turned over, and the next one just continues off of that. I've now taken and sewn all of my little strips that I have here. If we have to add on at the end, that's not a problem. And I'm knocking some of the little frays off the ends by slicing them. But you can see when you cut it or sew it on the bias, how clean it looks. Now the bias, like I say, is sewing it on the cross grain of the fabric. So we have this completed. I would not go through and just cut a section, but we're not concerned. I'm just showing you how this is done. I'm not concerned about it being a deep bowl or anything. If I wanted a deep bowl, I would not cut my tubing off. I would leave it, but I would kind of fold it up and let it dangle off the table with, you can use Velcro, a large clip, anything to hold it together. And we're tightening it up a little bit. Now we are going to wrap our strip around the tubing, and this is going to take a while to do this, so I'm going to do this and then we will come back, because what you're doing now is creating your top chain that will be sewn into a fabric bowl. Try to be consistent with your folding of the material or the twisting, however you want to look at it. And I'll drop this off of the table so it will freely move. And you will have to move your fabric around. You want it a little taut, but don't put it so tight that it's hard, because we will have to sew this later. So I'm going to put it on pause and I'm going to continue wrapping. Now you can see that we are into our second color here. So we'll continue this and I'll come back. As you can see, we haven't gotten very far, but we are on our fourth color. However, I do place my Wonder Clips down through here because it's not hard, but it's very time consuming, and the last thing you want is to drop it and this unravel. what you've already wound up. So we're just going to keep right on going until we get to the end, and then we'll come back. One other thing, this one I haven't clipped this one good yet. I did go back. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. So I went back and I cut the little triangles off of my bias where it was sewn to make the consistency much better and just easier to wind. This fabric bowl can be made by hand. It helps if you have a sewing machine, but everything that I'm doing right here you can actually do by hand if you like, but pins have a tendency to slide out. So we'll continue going right on down this strip until we get more into it. I took my rope and a cording, and there are going to be a little bit of inconsistencies in this, and you'll be able to see a few, but don't get discouraged. Now, once I got it all wrapped, you can see I started curling it up. Now you just want to get it started because we're going to go to the sewing machine. Let me get my stiletto. We will go to the sewing machine and we are going to start in the center here, and we're going to zigzag. As we sew, we will start building this, and you'll see how it starts forming a bowl. It'll be how you end up putting it on the machine, and it just gets larger and larger. So we will go do that now. I was using variegated thread because I thought that would look pretty good on this. What I am running into, let me get it up here. It is not going to work. As you can see that it frays too badly. We don't want that. Get it up here. There it is. So we are going to do without that. It's also in the bobbin. It is not working. Now you can see by tilting it, taking your thumb and pushing down in the center there, as you zigzag around, starts to form a bowl. And we are just catching between the rows. Now you can see how it's forming and cupping upward. You see a lot of rugs made by doing this same thing. So it's pretty cute. I don't know if you could actually see the back side of it yet or not, but we'll just keep on going. And I am using two different colors of thread. I have a yellow bobbin thread and a lilac top thread.